Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Two of Wands. You're a very assertive person. I think that you are not taking no for an answer, that you are not just lying down, you're not acquiescing, you're not going to bend or break right now. I think you're not usually like adamant about something, right? Usually I feel like you're very easygoing, you're very tolerant, you're very flexible, you're very kind of willing to just kind of let other people have their way and let things unfold, right? But right now, I feel like you got a fire in you. You've got this. It's almost like we're mad and we're just saying, I'm not going to take it anymore. I feel like you're pushing back. I feel like you're taking a stand. This is a good Mars in Aries energy that just says, I am going to win. This is a very dominating energy. I feel like usually in your life, you tend to be a little bit more passive, a little bit more easygoing. Not right now. Right now, you're saying, I got to get this. I've got to win. I've got to push through. I want this. I need this. It's my turn. I'm going to do it. Okay, it's a very fiery energy. So it may feel a little ambitious. It may even feel a little bit rude. It's kind of like, well, I didn't mean to be that. I didn't mean to be that assertive, you know. We sometimes don't know our own strength, right? But there's something that you're kind of fighting for right now, or something that you believe is worth fighting for. Maybe you haven't started fighting for it yet, but you believe that it is worth it. So let's put this very strong energy into a little bit of context, okay? There's the Hanged Man. Interesting. Very interesting, okay? We have the High Priestess. Yes, following the intuition. You see the High Priestess and the Hanged Man are holding hands, as you can see. Right? They're basically mirror images. And it's saying really that we need to trust in the divine here. We need to take the hand of the intuition, of spirit, of the divine light, of the star light. This is the light coming from your true self. We need to take the hand and we need to surrender into this. This doesn't mean that we're being passive. I think this means that we're giving ourselves over and we're trusting in what spirit is bringing us and how spirit is guiding us through this. Okay? Something that we are willing to fight for. Here we have a 5 of Cups. We have the 7 of Pentacles. And we have a 9 of Pentacles. Look at that. Gain. Yeah. We have a 10 of Cups. Beautiful energy. We have a 6 of Swords. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. We have the Hermit. We have your superpower card. We're going to ring the bell for that. The Hermit represents the sign of Virgo. It's in an interesting position. This is the position of our anxiety, our fear, worry, concern. Again, because you're usually the Hermit. You're usually rather easygoing, pretty laid back, pretty chill. But right now, the Hermit is kind of taking off the cloak, standing up straight and saying, no, I need to do this. I need to push back. I need to assert myself right now. Right? We're going after the win, I think. What's our final card? Oh, interesting. Okay. Princess of Swords. I feel like we're going to be learning something very important about ourselves. I feel like this is a big win for you. I really do. I feel like this is kind of like finally the win. Because it's something that is worth fighting for you. Whether it's a relationship, a business, whether it's your financial health or your kind of physical well-being, whether this is a project or an art piece or a new skill or a sport or whatever it is, doesn't matter. Matters is it's worth it for you to keep fighting for it. We're not going to pretend that everything is okay when it's not. And that's, I think, the essence of our 2 of Wands there, this assertiveness, this Mars and Aries that's just saying, like, I'm not going to lie down and just take it. I'm going to stand up. And I'm going to do something about this. Okay? Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're just going to set it down right over here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comment section down below this video. All right. Let's use this intuition that's inside of us right now. Okay. As we look around the room, we see our major arcana energies, 1, 2, and 3. The Hanged Man is, in this sense, kind of feels like it's the ego getting out of the way here and saying, okay, I'm going to trust in what Spirit is telling me. I'm going to trust my intuition. I'm going to give myself over to this process, and I'm going to assert myself. So it kind of looks like this is a passive energy, but I think it's not in this case. I think it's you surrendering to this fire, surrendering to this willpower, that this assertiveness that you have in you, and letting it kind of come through you and shine out into the world, right? And we have that Hermit card. We have the fire right here front and center. We've got the water in the background and the water here in your general energy. We have a little bit of air. Yeah, a little bit more up here. And we have earth and earth. Going from a disappointment to an ultimate satisfaction, going from a failure to a success, a gain. This is the real win, finally a win. Right? I think you've been suffering enough. I think this is exactly right. Now, our second card is that Hanged Man, the suffering and the sacrifice. Okay? I think that this, going from the failure to the win, going from the disappointment to the ultimate satisfaction, the dream come true life is requiring that we don't just lay down. So position 2, the Hanged Man is your battlefield right now. It's important for you to get up and say, I'm not going to lie down on the mat. I'm not just going to wave the white flag or give up. I need to assert myself right now. Spirit wants you to feel your power. Trust in your power. Trust that if you get up and you keep pushing, you will succeed. Finally a win. Yeah. This is going to be a gold mine. The 9 of Pentacles is not just a win. It's a continued win. It's growth and success over the course of time. Things are getting better and better and better and better. It's not just one win and then it's back down on the mat. No, I feel like this is us winning again and again and again and again. Okay. But that's the battlefield. The quest that's before you right now is let's give ourselves over to this frustration, this, even if it's anger, whatever this heat is that you feel inside of you right now. It's kind of like we just see red. Okay, let's use that to get ourselves up out of this position. Let's turn the Hanged Man upside down or right side up. And the Hanged Man becomes the fire dancer. Shout out Dave Matthews Band. Kind of looks like their symbol, right? Their logo. I heard Dave is a fan of the show, but I don't know if that's true. But see, we're reversing things. We're using our willpower to pull ourselves up from this position, pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, and we're going to push. We're going to fight. Okay, because I think that you've sacrificed enough. You have suffered enough. And we've spent too much time in that position. It's time for you to claim what is yours. It's time for you to get the rewards. It's time for you to get the win, get the gold. Yeah. And so the Hanged Man is sort of suggesting that we've spent a lot of time acquiescing, bending over backwards for other people, letting people kind of go ahead of us, go first, go first, go first. I think you're saying, no, it's my turn now. It's kind of like you're walking into a building with a crowd of people and you hold the door for some people and they go in and you say, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, have a good day. But then more people keep coming. More people, until you finally start to feel like you work there. Like it's your job to hold the door for everybody, right? Eventually you have to just kind of slip in and go inside. And it may seem to that person behind you, oh, they were very rude. But they didn't know that you've been holding the door already for like 30 minutes. And you're going to be late to your appointment because you were holding the opportunity open for everybody else. So I think it's time for us to claim what's rightfully ours now. I think that you've been bending over backwards, being of service, and suffering, sacrificing, giving for the sake of others. Okay, I think this Two of Wands is saying it's my time now to assert myself, I need to take a little bit of control, because the Hanged Man is kind of just like lying on their back, going with the flow. Wherever the current takes me, that's just where I'm going, right? But now this Two of Wands is saying, wait a minute, no, I need to steer the boat a little bit. And I think I like the combination of surrender, but also control, right? So there's a lesson here. With the Two of Wands, it says, I need to control the ship. But then the Hanged Man is also saying, let's remember that we can't control everything. I can only do what I can do. Spirit doesn't want us to just completely give up and just let life knock us around like a pinball. Okay? Spirit wants us to be co-creators of our destiny. We work together. We nudge the river. We can steer the boat a little bit. Okay? And I think that's the combination of these cards. We can't control what other people do. We can't control external situations or events. We can't control the environment very much. We can a little bit. I think you can probably more than you're aware of right now. We have a Six of Swords in the environment. You know your business. You're smart. You know what you're doing here. You have the information, right? You have the wisdom and the knowledge to steer the boat. But this is a card of surrender. And I think this is us acknowledging that I can't control everything. I can only do my very best. And if I do my very best, it's likely that I'm going to get some good wins here. The Hanged Man is also reminding us that we need to surrender to the force of this will. There is something that you want in life. There is a goal, like you have some, we've been perhaps not getting it. We want it. And that's that part of the water energy here. We want this satisfaction. We want to feel blessed. We want to feel the miracles in life. We're not just going to wait around for them to land in our lap. Okay? So I think that we're trusting in this force. We're sort of surrendering to this will. Okay, to this will. And it may be that for a long time we felt conflicted about, kind of the hermit, what path to be on. We've maybe been conflicted about, should I assert myself in life? Should I be ambitious? Should I I want certain things in life, but how much should I go out and try to get them and try to succeed? And I'm not really that competitive. I don't like competition really. But is there that part of me that needs a little bit of competition? Because it's kind of like with that Two of Wands, it's like we have conflicting wills. It's like we're pushing against ourselves a little bit. It's like, I want it. Oh, I don't want it. I should go out and get it. No, I should just wait for it to come to me, And so I think there's been that battle. And what does that mean when there's equalized pressure like that? It means that we're exerting a lot of force, but we're not going anywhere. One of those has to give way. Ow, my elbow. One of them has to yield. And that's what we have to figure out with the Hanged Man. Which part of us needs to yield so that this force and fire can push us in the direction we want to go? So that means, in a way, it means that you're kind of resisting yourself a little bit. You, inside of you have two forces that are pushing against each other. One of them has to yield. Okay, you think about that. Now, underneath the surface, the intuition, the High Priestess. The High Priestess is always leading you to your best life. You're way more psychic than you realize, right? I think that you've been told that by people, that you really have a psychic energy around you. I feel like people have been telling you that. And I feel like sometimes we don't always believe that or trust in that. You're going to start trusting in that more, okay? You have fish, or you like to watch fish. You own fish, or you're a fish parent, I guess. Because I feel there's some fish in a fish tank. You enjoy watching them, or you... something about the motion, the current. Maybe it's some kind of it feels like it's an aquarium. It could be like a fountain or something like this that you have. This is something inside of you that's calling to you and telling you, whispering to you, take my hand, trust me, I know where I'm going, And it's difficult for us to kind of trust in ourselves in this way, or trust in our intuition. but you have a strong connection with your spiritual light. I think your guides right now, they're very near to you, and I think that you kind of know who I'm talking about. It's really time that we take the hand. You know, if you look at these two cards, I love this combination. Every time I hold this up to the camera, though, I get in trouble with YouTube a little bit because, well, they're not wearing any clothes. But these two cards were meant for each other. They're interlocking major arcana, right? And a few of them do this. But these two really do connect. They're holding hands. We're surrendering to the will of the divine. We're surrendering to our own intuition, to the voice of our own soul here. This is art, right? It's the art of surrendering, knowing what to surrender to. I'm not surrendering my autonomy. I'm not surrendering my agency. I'm not surrendering my future. I'm not surrendering my right to kind of achieve what I want in life right now, whatever this is about. Whether this is work, home, school, family, friends, lover, it doesn't matter. Business, finances, health, it doesn't matter. What matters is you have to know what to give up in order to let this energy flow forth from you. We've got to trust in that high priestess. We've got to surrender into that divine energy that is telling us which part of us needs to yield for this very powerful part to come out of us and get the win. Okay? To get the win. You like to press flowers. Yeah. You have a book, an old book. I don't know if it's a Bible or it's a big thick book, but you have a lot of flowers in between the pages, right? Anyway, yes, high priestess. Okay? We have to understand, we have to look inside and listen to that voice and know what part of us needs to yield in order to let that powerful part of us flow through and get the win. Okay? Now, the Five of Cups is in the background here because this is the kind of a motivating force. This is something pushing you. The Five of Cups is an emotional disappointment. It's an emotional absence. It's kind of like saying, something should be here, but it's not. And thus, I feel disappointed. We have to identify what this is. I think you know what it is. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here having this conversation, right? Because this is something emotional that's saying, hey, look at me. I'm not complete. There's something that I want in life that I don't have. This is almost a card of craving, a card of desire, a card of a deep emotional need here. Basically saying, I want something. Okay? And if you want it bad enough, then you're willing to sacrifice, you're willing to yield, you're willing to surrender a certain energy, a certain part of you, or a certain other desire, or other will, or other whatever comfort maybe. We're willing to yield some part of us so we can get what it is that's missing. Maybe this is like, I want to have friends. I want to have a romantic relationship. I want to have pleasure. I want to have a good time. I want to have fun. I want to have success. I want to have a sense of community. I want to find my people. I want to find a life where I feel valued for being who I am and not just for what I can give or what I can bring to the table. The 5 is implying we want the 6. Yeah. And we could go back to a 4, which is just, anytime we get a 5, we start looking for the 4, right? Because the 4 is just, I'm going to stop wanting anything. So when we feel the 5, where do we go? Do we go forward into saying, I want it and I'm going to go get it? The 6 is the win. The 6 is the beauty, the harmony, the perfection, the success, right? The pleasure, the satisfaction of this desire. Or we go back to the 4, which is saying, nah, I'm not gonna pursue it. I'm gonna try to be okay without it. It's kind of like saying, I want a connection. I want a soulmate in my life. And we either go after it and we go find it. We put ourselves out there into the world. We assert ourselves and we don't just wait for it, but we make it happen. Or we just go back to the 4 and we just say, I'm just gonna try to be okay with not having it in my life. And that any of the 4s, but the 4 of Cups and the 4 of Swords too, is this trying to convince ourselves that we don't need it. But we got the 5. We know we want this. The 4 of Cups is the safe harbor. It's the storm shelter. It's saying, I'm just going to stay here where it's emotionally safe. Life's okay. Life's not sinking. There are no holes in the boat, right? But there's no party on the boat either. With the 5 is realizing that I want this thing. And we say craving, but it doesn't mean that it's just like you want this instant gratification. Because what you want really is, I think, the 10 of Cups. You want contentment, you want peace, you want love, you want life to feel like it's fulfilling and meaningful. We want meaning and purpose. And maybe that meaning and purpose for you is coming through finding connections with other people, having friends, not feeling lonely. Right? You do have the hermit in the position of what's unwanted here. We don't want to feel like the hermit anymore. Maybe I want to feel like I belong, right? So I think as the card of the recent past, this is the realization of what you do want. Maybe we had something like this, and maybe we experienced a breakup or the loss of a job or something like that. We had some kind of a disappointment in life through a specific event. And that sort of let us know, it was a sign that says, wow, I feel a lack in my life, and I want to remedy that. And so this was the beginning of the quest, right? Where we just said, you know what? I realize what I want in life, and I'm going to go get it. And then here we are, right? Of course, we have our 7 of Pentacles up above. I feel like that is, obviously, it's a card of failure. It's a card of like, I've tried to fulfill my life, whatever this desire is. Okay, and I don't say desire, I don't say craving in a bad way. I think that desire is a deep soul desire. It's us realizing what we need in life to feel happy and fulfilled. Maybe it's spirituality. Maybe that's a divine connection. Maybe that is, family, friends. Maybe that is a meaningful, purposeful career. Or maybe that's some kind of art. Maybe it's I need music, whatever it is, right? This is our attempt to get it, and it didn't work. It's like, I realize now I need music in my life. We go to the record store, if any are still there where you live, and we listen to some records, some 8 tracks, right? Some vinyl. And I don't like that stuff. It doesn't do it for me. Okay, we may have to go through several of these iterations before we find what really works for us. This is, I've attempted and I've failed. Okay, this is, I wanted to succeed at this, but I got thrown down on the mat. I lost the match. I lost the battle. Okay, the Hanged Man would say, well, I guess this is my life now. I guess I just live on the floor. No, we know the 2 of Wands is us getting up and trying again, and trying again, and trying again. The fail, and I really like the Princess of Swords as it's next to our 7 of Pentacles, because we learn through each failure, we learn more about what our intuition is telling us and what our heart really wants, what we need to be fulfilled. Maybe it's like, I thought this was going to be the one. I thought that I would do this, and I thought that it would make me happy, but it didn't. Okay, what does that mean for me? What does that reveal to me about the nature of my initiation? What does that teach me about who I am, about what I want? What is the message within these failures? What is Spirit trying to teach me? I thought this would make me happy, or I thought that it would work and that I'd be fulfilled, and it didn't. It was a failure, in a sense. A small f, little f failures. And the Princess of Swords is learning from each of these. And that learning is giving us wisdom and knowledge. We're getting our life really down to an art and a science with the 6 of Swords. But we have to go through the 7s. We have to encounter what we don't want, what didn't work, what didn't fulfill us, what didn't make us happy. We have to encounter not the wins, but the losses, right? Not the successes, but the failures, in order to fully realize what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right, what I want, what I don't want. It gives us wisdom and knowledge, gives us the information, the data, right? We kind of know how I need to develop myself, what I need to do to win. For instance, right? Let's say this is a sporting event, and you're going to jiu-jitsu and you're getting your butt kicked. Every time you get your butt kicked is a learning experience. We learn way more from the losses than we do from the gains, from the wins. We learn more from failure than from success. Okay? And the whole process really, to me, feels like we're inside of a blacksmith's shop. The Hanged Man is lying down on the blacksmith's anvil. And of course, the 2 of Wands is, we're asserting ourselves, and we're attempting to do something, and we're getting knocked around a bit by life, but that's shaping us and molding us into who we need to become. in order to get this success. So every time we attempt something and it doesn't work out, we learn from it, we gain in wisdom, we gain in both knowledge and an internal, deeper spiritual wisdom, and we can adapt and change what we need to change, assert ourselves and keep pushing ourselves, and go back and attempt it again. So really what we have here is that process of learning. You're somebody who's very, very capable of learning. Okay. Of course, in the future position, the 9 of Pentacles, the gains, the wins, not just one win and not just one loss. Okay? We realize that the 9 of Pentacles contains the 7, right? Contains the ace, contains all of them, right? The ace through the 8 of Pentacles even, that leads to the real gains. So we have to start the process. We have to be willing to be proactive. We have to be willing to kind of go through the 2, right? Make the appropriate changes. We have to 3 of Pentacles. We have to do the work. 4 of Pentacles. We need to rest from that work. The 5 of Pentacles. We need to push outside of our comfort zone. We need to push beyond our capabilities, right? The 6, the 6 of Pentacles. We're going to have wins. We're going to have moments where we do defeat the other opponent, or we do get the pleasure or the gratification or the victory. Right? We get the 6s that we want. And of course, we're going to get a 7 too. Just because you won yesterday doesn't mean you're going to win again today. So we'll get the 7s, and then we get the 8s. And the 8s are the growth. The 8s are how I'm using my success and my failure, my 6 and my 7, to then pay attention and grow and develop those particular skills or talents or aspects of myself, qualities, those character traits that I need. So how I'm consciously focused on my own growth then leads to profit over time. The line is going up and to the right. You see, the 9 of Pentacles is really where it's at. And we only get the 9 of Pentacles, the gain, the benefit, the real profit, over the course of time. Long-term overall gain, it's like the stock market's going up and to the right at some point, right? It goes up and down like this. But it's generally going in that motion, that trajectory, right? And we realize that the only way to get that long-term growth and profit is through the wins and the losses, the ups and the downs, going through the entire process. This is profit. The 8 of Pentacles is growth. Growth depends on both the 7, failure, and the 6, the win. So profit over time is a combination of ups and downs, wins and losses, that ultimately lead to the growth. We're learning from that. So if I go through a process of wins and losses, but I don't ever reflect on that and pay attention to, like, how do I capitalize on that? When I get a loss, what is it teaching me? Oh, okay, I need to be more, I need to be faster on my right side or something, right? So, okay, well, I know that now, so now I can start working on those right-sided moves. But if I'm just oblivious and I don't do the 8 of Pentacles work, I'm not going to get the real gain, the real profit from this. Life will just be ups and downs. It'll ultimately be just a horizontal line of wins and losses, kind of randomly scattered around. But if we pay attention and we understand what the wins too teach us about ourselves, not as much as the losses. But you get the idea, okay? We don't need to fixate on that too much. But the 9 of Pentacles is the real win. It's the real profit over the course of time for you. It's going to be a long term. This is in your future position, the immediate future. And to me, that feels like it's going to be a series of wins and some losses too. But overall, you will see the line going up and to the right. You're going to profit from this. Your life is going to improve. This is gain on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes. Whatever you're doing now is taking your entire life in every dimension up and to the right, which is increase, right? Things are getting better and better and better as time goes forward. Okay? It's one of those one of those graphs with the what is it, the X and Y axes or whatever. Things are improving over time. And so we keep going through this process, and your life's going to get better and better and better and better in every dimension, spiritually, creatively, emotionally, all of it. Yeah. Now, Path of the Serpent, we're going to talk about these cards. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, by the way, please do. The readings are free. It really supports the channel, and I really do appreciate that. Okay. The 10 of Cups is really, this is the general energy. This is what you ultimately want. The 5 of Cups is saying, I want a 6 of Cups. I want a win. I want pleasure. So maybe it is kind of like, I realize that, I'm kind of disappointed in something. I'm disappointed in a failure. What I want is a win. The win makes me feel better. And then when I feel better, I go after it again, and so I can keep this process going. So it is maybe more immediate. The 10 of Cups is that long-term ideal life. I want my life to have meaning and purpose. This is the picture-perfect life. This is our vision of the best life that we could lead. Okay? And we know that even inside of a 10 of Cups, there's going to be disappointment. There's going to be loss and gain. There's going to be ups and downs. What we're talking about here are the ups and downs of life and the twists and turns of life, which is exactly what I say about the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is your other superpower card. In the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen is looking back over the past and seeing the ups and downs. These are ups and downs, disappointments and content, satisfaction, bliss, the miracles and the disappointments, right? She's looking back at the twists and turns, which are this: the gains, the losses, the successes and the failures, the twists and turns and the ups and downs of life, the physical events, the physical challenges, and of course the emotional roller coaster, twists and turns, ups and downs. But overall, seeing profit, seeing progress, seeing that things have been so good over this course of time. There have been days that have been bad, days that have been really good, but overall, we've been going in the right direction. And your life is going to continue to get better and better and better and better. Okay. And this is, of course, that kind of the big picture. This contentment with life that just says, I want to have that meaning. I want to have purpose. I want to go after my best life. And the High Priestess is leading us to our best life. Maybe the mystery card will be the Empress. This is contentment. This is satiety. This is satisfaction. This is fulfillment. It's not just a daily win. It's not the wins or the losses. It's overall, the big picture of life is that I love my life. I'm satisfied with my life. I'm content with the way things are going. We're living a good and beautiful life that has meaning and purpose and fulfillment and wins and losses. Yeah. This is your general energy now. I think that you're realizing this is what you want, and you know that you've got to go through the ups and downs and the twists and turns. Now, in the environment, in your relationships, you have the 6 of Swords. That is wisdom and knowledge. That's harmony and beauty of the mind. That is connections. That is a strategy. That is wisdom. And what it's telling me is that whatever your situation is, whatever your work you're doing, and well, of course, when I say work, I don't just mean for money. I mean whatever your purpose is, whatever your great work is, whatever you're burning calories doing every day. Okay? Maybe you're in school. Maybe you're retired. It doesn't matter. This is saying, you know your business. You know your game. You're smart. You know what this is. You have the information. You have the plan, right? You know this industry. You know the technique. You know the information. It's kind of like you're nervous about taking the test, but like your friends are telling you, hey, you know this stuff. You're good at this. You know the industry, right? You know the work. You've studied the textbook. You've lived through the experience. You can do this. It's like you have that wisdom and that knowledge inside of you. Again, we have to trust this. This is us trusting our own brain that says the answers are in there somewhere. I know the information. So it's not like we're kind of we're nervous because, well, I don't know, I didn't study enough. I'm not ready to take the test. No, you know the information. You're smart. Okay. I think this is also the card of networking with other people. I feel like you're very good at conversing with others and connecting with others, forming alliances. I think right now, making sure that you have harmony in your relationships is going to be very important. If you're part of a team or part of a family or part of a company, make sure that we are connecting and communicating with those people effectively, even if they are kind of your competitors. So even if we're experiencing the wins and the losses, we want to make sure that we are courteous and polite. We're not bending over backwards and surrendering and giving up or acquiescing, right? But we are courteous and professional and polite, and we're kind and all this good stuff, yeah? I think it's very important in your relationships right now. And I think ultimately this is what you want is the connections like this. Because I think that the hermit in the unwanted specter position 9, the fear, worry, concern, is that we're going to be isolated. We don't want to be isolated. And sometimes we feel that if we assert ourselves, people aren't going to like us, we're going to lose friends. Yeah, maybe. Maybe, right? But I think you're going to gain something even better. You're going to gain something more. And especially if you go at it with love in your heart, with peace and contentment, and a real kind of desire for, not for the immediate gratification so much, but for having an overall big picture, dream life, perfect, happy life, we know that we have to be very, very mindful of how we communicate with others. Okay, I feel like you speak from the heart. That's kind of what I'm seeing with the 6 of Swords. Is that you speak from the heart. You're very sincere, and it's important that you express your emotions, that you're very honest, and that you trust in your ability to communicate. You trust in your own brain, that you have the answers, you have the knowledge inside of you that can perform these tasks, whatever they are, but that you can do so in a way that sort of keeps things together. See, with the 6 of Swords, all the Swords cards, in the background, a lot of chaos. In the background is a lot of static. Okay? A lot of chaos, a lot of static, but what you're able to do is find the harmony, find the structure and order in that chaos. Okay? So no matter what's going on, you're keeping a level head. You're keeping your wits about you. And no matter the wins or the losses, you're being very courteous and very polite. When you get the wins, you don't gloat. When you get the losses, you don't sulk. You maintain a very professional and respectful and kind of honoring other people sort of attitude. And the hermit is a couple of things. One, it's kind of like this, it's a little bit of a fear, because it's kind of saying like, I'm not usually so assertive. I usually keep to myself, and I usually just try to acquiesce, and I'm usually very, very humble, and kind of, I'm very chill and very relaxed, very easygoing. And I think that's, kind of what we're used to doing. And now Spirit's telling you to kind of activate that fire energy, and you're saying, well, I'm kind of out of my element. I'm out of my comfort zone a little bit. But I think that's a good thing. And at first, when you start asserting yourself and kind of speaking up and standing up for yourself and sort of being willing to engage with life a little bit more, yeah, you might lose friends at first. Those are the friends that really weren't your friends. Those were the friends that just liked you because you were easygoing and you were very willing to give them what they wanted. But now we're kind of that big red X, we're saying no more. So I think that as you start to stand up for yourself in a very polite and courteous and kind way, you're going to see who your real friends are. And maybe at first it's going to feel a little bit more lonely, because I realize that I'm out here alone mostly. You're going to meet with the right people. Okay, we're going to gain new friends. And it could be that this 5 of Cups really is a disappointment in a friendship, or maybe a deeper, more romantic relationship, but a disappointment as we realize that somebody only liked us when we were pliable. Somebody only liked us when we were easygoing and moldable, and when we were very flexible, very willing to bend. Then they liked us a lot. But once we kind of said no, right? Once you start saying no in your life, you're really going to see people's true colors. Okay, and so be ready for that, and that's okay. That's part of the process. Yeah. The Princess of Swords at the end here, I think, is really perfect, because we're learning so much. We're curious. We're moving forward. We are doing so with full awareness. We are learning from our failures, we're learning from the gains, we're learning about other people, we're learning from our own heart, we're trusting in spirit, and we're cautiously moving forward, trying to navigate our way through this. And, you know, it kind of is like we're cutting our own way through the jungle a little bit. And that's part of our hermit energy too, going off trail, not trying to do what everybody expects you to do or what you've been taught you're supposed to do or what, you know, a good obedient hanged man would do. You're sort of going your own way. You're trusting your own inner light. Well, that is, of course, the high priestess shining that starlight in there. Okay? And so this is about you receiving that starlight and acting on it and, you know, kind of cutting your own way through the jungle, forging your own trail. You're taking the pathless road. You're taking the road less traveled, for sure. Okay? Let's look at our mystery card here. Position 11 is the guide, right? It's the voice of the silence within you. It represents the message from spirit, and it could be a character quality that we need to embody or develop in order to move forward. So it might be some more fire energy. I kind of feel like it's going to be fire. Okay. And the idea with the Princess of Swords, by the way, is that knowledge is useless unless it changes you. And that's where we get the Eight of Pentacles too, right? We're going through all the Pentacles and we're saying, okay, you got the Ace through the 7, the 8, the 9, you know, and this is the Prophet. This is the line going up and to the right. But the failures aren't going to do anything to you if we don't grow because of those. If it's just a failure and then we come back to the ring and we do the same thing again, we're not learning anything. If we don't learn, if our knowledge doesn't change us, it's useless. So we need that intermediate step of that Eight of Pentacles. We have to learn, we have to grow from the wins and losses. And that is really what's leading us to that right trajectory. All right. So what is the mystery card going to be? I think it's going to be some fire energy. I would hope that maybe it's the Empress, or maybe it's a 9 of Cups, or maybe a 10 of Pentacles. Let's see what we have. Oh, it's the 6 of Cups. Yes, of course, because the 5 is what we were looking, you know, this is what we were looking at and thinking, I'm disappointed with something. The 6 now is saying that whatever we've been disappointed by in life, we're going to find it and it's going to be so much better than what we thought. Okay? So this is the win. Finally, a win, right? That's what we've been craving. And this is it. And this might be romance, it might be friendship, it might be like finding our tribe, finding our community. Finding our true friends on this path of wins and losses, of ups and downs. We're getting the pleasure, we're getting the satisfaction in life. We're getting some wins. We're going to have some failures. There's going to be, you know, it's the prize, it's the twists and turns, the ups and downs. But this is really, really great. And so this is telling me that whatever your soul desires right now, the 5 of Cups is the motivation to go and find something better in life. And well, you're finding it, right? With that 6 of Cups. This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And if we believe that it's out there for us and we believe that what we're looking for, we will find and it will find us and we'll come together in this magic, this union. Yeah. If we believe it's possible, it is possible. And that's kind of our 6 of Swords. If we believe it, if we believe we can do it, we're right. If we believe, on the other hand, that we can't do it, we're right. Okay. This is that win. This is that achievement. This is that good feeling of pleasure, of success. It's like a really big hug. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, we're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Virgo on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.